Hey guys, how you doing? Let me start and preface this video by thanking you up front for taking a few minutes out of your day to spend watching this video. Um, I also want to implore you to watch this entire video. I'm going to try and keep it as short as I can. I might ramble and go off in tangents a little bit here and there, but I will try and keep the video as straight to the point as I possibly can. So thank you in advance for taking a few minutes out of your day to watch this. And there's a reason I'm saying that, because it's a very important video, at least in my way of thinking. So this is a video I never thought I'd have to make or want to make, obviously. To a few of you out there, what I'm going to be going over in this video will not come as any surprise, for obvious reasons. But to the majority of you watching this video, it will come. I'm sure it has a little bit of a surprise to most of you. So, and there's a reason I'm making this video right now, and that'll come to light in a minute or two. And I've been thinking about making this video for quite a while, but I figured now is a perfect time to do that. So, I guess there's no other way of really starting it other than to say that back in September of 2023, a year ago, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And it's something that I not only dealt with then, but I'm still a year later here dealing with it today. And I'll get into that in a little bit. I felt fine. I still feel fine right now, so that's a good thing. But September is not only 1 year that I was diagnosed, but this month is also Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And I figured if I was going to make a video like this, let me tie it all in together, not only with the 1 year of my diagnosis, but also awareness, because that's really the main part of this video. So let me talk to you a little bit about that. And by awareness, I mean, I'm not lucky to be alive right now, but if I wasn't aware, I wouldn't be alive probably a couple years from now. And this is what I mean by that. So I know a lot of you out there who are watching are men, obviously. A lot of you are women who know men, brothers, husbands, uncles, fathers. And the main thing I want to push in this video is awareness and getting tested. And I can't overemphasize the importance of getting tested for this. 1 in every 8 men in this country are diagnosed with prostate cancer. That's basically, if you have 100 men in a room, 13 of them will have prostate cancer. It's, other than lung cancer, it's the second leading cause of cancer death in men, as far as that goes. Out of the 13 men that, out of 100 that get it, 2 or 3 die from the disease, which isn't a big number, but still, I mean, you're talking maybe 20%, give or take, or so, pass away from this. And the ones who typically pass away are the ones who find out too late. And that was almost me. And that easily could have been me. And I found out by mistake. And it's my fault that I wasn't tested earlier, but luckily it was found, and I'll get into that in a second. But regarding that, on my birthday last year, August of last year, I actually spent my entire birthday in the emergency room. I was having a lot of stomach issues at the time, and it got to the point where it wasn't going away. And just to be safe, I went to the emergency room to get checked out, wanted to make sure it wasn't like a gallbladder or a spleen or something like that, the pains I was having. And they did a bunch of scans and tests, and this basically said it was bad indigestion and GERD and acid indigestion, that sort of thing. Sent me home with a bunch of medication, but also recommended that I follow up with my primary care physician. If any of you know me, I hate doctors. I don't like going to doctors. I avoid doctors. If I do get sick, I go to the urgent care and I'll get a prescription and that's it. I just don't like going to doctors. 99 out of 100 times, I would have ignored the emergency room's advice to follow up with my primary care, because I've done it in the past. I've had other doctors say you should follow up with your primary care for this or that, and I never did. Woke up the next day and, for whatever reason, said to my wife, you know what? I am going to follow up this time. Why I said that, honestly, I have no idea. Made an appointment, went in, met with my primary. My primary checked me out. And by this time, my stomach issues had gone away. I was having no more issues. But I still went anyway. And, they said, la-di-da, you're good to go. And that's it. As a kind of a, oh, by the way thing on the way out, they said, listen, it's been a long time since you had a wellness check. And it was. I hadn't had one in a while. They said, while you're here, why don't we do a wellness check? Whatever, let's do it. So they did a little physical on me there, and they scheduled me for a blood test. I came back a few days later, had blood drawn, went back a week later after that. Again, no big deal, and I went in, and all my blood came back good. But she did mention, hey, the one thing that's a little alarming is your PSA is elevated, higher than where it should be. And I didn't really even know for a second. I was thinking, wait, PSA, and then it hit me what that was. And I said, really? She goes, yeah, it's elevated enough where I think you should follow up with a urologist. I'm like, oh, okay. And then again, this was just found out circumstantial, by the way, because I had went to my doctor for a completely unrelated reason. It took a little bit of time, but I found a urologist that I liked enough to go see. Met with him. They did a scan. And sure enough, when they did a CAT scan, something showed up. And enough where they said, we want to do a biopsy. And they went in back in December of last year and did a biopsy. And sure enough, the biopsy showed it was cancer. And it was also cancer, unfortunately, that was not just completely contained to the prostate. I had waited long enough to have this addressed where it had started to protrude from the prostate, the tumor, and actually invaded into the seminal glands that surround it. And it hadn't, as far as they could tell, it hadn't spread anywhere else, but hey, this needs to be addressed immediately. Went over some treatment plans, decided they were going to send me for a PET scan. Just wanted to make sure it hadn't spread anywhere, and sure enough, luckily it hadn't spread anywhere. Not my lymph nodes, my skeletal, anything like that. It hadn't spread. So at my age, they recommended the best thing to do was to do surgery. So in March of this year, I went in, February, end of February this year, I went in. I was in the hospital for a few days, and I had surgery on my prostate, hoping that would be it. Once your prostate's removed, your PSA should go down to basically nothing, undetectable, or very minimal amounts, because your PSA is your prostate's what produces PSA. Went for my first blood test a few months later, and it was a little bit higher than what they were hoping for. So I said, that's, not good, but, it could be reasons. Let's wait a few more months and do another one. A few more months later, did another one. It came back the same, little elevated, but not where it should be. They said, well, let's just wait a few more months, do another one. They did another one a few weeks ago, and it came back even higher than the first one. Basically, what that meant is something was still producing PSA in my system, which is typically what's called a biochemical recurrence. And that just means that there are microscopic prostate cells that can get left behind after the surgery. You can't see them during the surgery. And because my prostate had escaped, this tumor had escaped the prostate a little bit, the cells also had gotten out. But my pathology after the surgery came back great. My margins were clean. All of my lymph nodes were clean. Everything looked great in my pathology. So we thought at that time, that's it. But lo and behold, my PSA wasn't going down to where they were happy. So they sent me in for another PET scan about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And went in for another PET scan, and everything came back good. No spread to the lymph nodes, no spread to the skeletal, no spread to the tissue or anything. But there's one little area, what they call a nodule, right below my bladder that was glowing, firing up a little bit. That's what a PET scan does. Anywhere there's prostate cancer in your body, it kind of makes it glow. And there was this one spot on this nodule that was glowing enough where they said, hey, that's the issue. The cells had gotten into this nodule that's below my bladder, and they're saying that's why my PSA is still being detected through these tests. They also said that could also mean because cells are in that nodule, that in my prostate bed where the prostate used to be, I can also have cells left in that area as well too. PET scans won't pick up microscopic prostate cells. Scans won't pick them up. You can't see them. but they're there. And the thing you want to do is you want to get to them before they spread, because I mentioned how 2 or 3 people out of those 13 who get it die. That's how it happens. Once those cells get out, they get spread to your lymphatic system. Dangerously, it gets spread to your other organs. It gets spread to your brain. It gets spread a lot of times to your skeletal system. Once it gets to that point, you can't cure it. You have that the rest of your life. Now there's things they could do to prolong your life and treatments they could do to keep you alive. But you're going to deal with that the rest of your life, and who wants to deal with that the rest of their life? So anyway, I met with the radiation team a few days ago, and we went over all of my scans and the PET scan and everything else. And fortunately, they said, listen, fortunately, we can address this, we can attack it, but unfortunately, that means not only did I have to go through surgery back in March, but now sometime in the next month, I'm going to have to go through 6 weeks of radiation. The radiation basically is going to not only address that nodule, but it's also going to address the prostate bed, where there could be remaining cells, because there are cells there. We want to get rid of them as well too. So they're going to do radiation to the prostate bed area, and they're going to do what they call the boost to that nodule to basically kick away or kick out all of the cells and make sure those cells are gone. And after 32 sessions, so it's a little over 6 weeks, it's 6 weeks and 2 days, or 6 weeks and 2 days, they're going to wait and do some more tests, and according to them, hopefully that'll do it, and my PSA will come down, and whatever little bit was left, because again, in this scan, the only thing that glowed or fired up under that PET scan was that nodule, that little nodule. Nothing in my lymph nodes, skeletal, soft tissue, anywhere like that, nothing else glowed. So we're hoping that that'll be it. But time will tell. And I have faith. I'm working with Moffitt Cancer here in Tampa. Moffitt is one of the world-renowned cancer centers in the country. If you don't know of them, I'm sure people in Florida here know of them. They're huge in Florida, but they're one of the top cancer centers in the entire country. And I have all the faith in the world with the medical team I've been working with over there. So, but that won't start for another about a month or so. I actually have to probably go in next week for what they call a planning session, where they have to map out and plan how they're going to do the radiation. And then it's typically about 3 weeks after that the radiation starts. And I go Monday through Friday for basically 32 sessions as far as that goes. Getting back to awareness. At the time I was having the stomach issues back last year, I had no signs of issues or anything with my prostate. If I did not have those stomach issues, if I did not go to the emergency room for those stomach issues, if I did not follow the emergency room's recommendations of following up with my primary, if I didn't go to my primary and they didn't recommend, hey, let's do a wellness checkup and do this blood test, I never would have done anything. I had no symptoms. I was feeling great, feeling fine, no issues. I just would have went on with my day. But I probably have had cancer, according to where my cancer was when I had the surgery. I've had it for several years. I mean, I could have had it for 5 years now. Had no idea. But luckily, prostate cancer is a very slow-moving, slow-growing cancer. It's not like other cancers, luckily, that just, you can get it within 6 months, oh my God. It's a very slow-moving thing. So luckily, that's what it was. But I probably had it for numerous years, and I never got tested. If I would have gotten tested sooner, it probably never would have escaped the prostate. It would have been contained within the prostate. So I wouldn't be going through what I'm going through now. They would have done the surgery, removed the tumor. That would have been it. That would have been done, which is what the majority of people with prostate cancer do, because unlike me, they get tested more often than I did. But the fact that I waited, it escaped the prostate a little bit. The cells got out, got into the seminal glands, got into now this little nodule, which is why I'm now having to follow up with radiation. But again, if I did not follow up and have this blood test done, you know when I would have found out? I would have found out when my bones started to ache. And I had so much pain in my body, I would have went to the doctor and said, what the hell's going on? Did I pull a muscle? Do I have a flu? What's going on? Why is my body aching like it does? And they would have come back to me and said, you have cancer in your bones, because that's what happens with prostate cancer when it gets real bad. That's how a lot of people die. As a matter of fact, if you remember Gunther from Friends, the bartender, not the bartender, but the guy at the coffee shop, that's what he died of. He had prostate cancer, and he found out way too late. And by the time he found out, it was in his bones, and within a few years, he was dead. That would have been me. Honest to God, that would have been me. Because I never would have gotten it checked out. I never would have had this blood test done. I never would have found out. And I would have found out when it was too late. And it drives me nuts to think about that. It's selfish of me because I have a family and I have a wife and kids and friends. And, you know, stupid me, I should have gotten it checked out sooner, but I didn't. Getting back to the awareness part of this. It's a blood test. It literally, they go in, boom, that's it, in and out, little shot, blood. Within a couple days, they tell you, hey, your PSA is this, your PSA is that. The majority of people are good. You get another test a couple years from now, and that's it. But God forbid there's an issue. Again, 1 in 8 men get this. A little quick funny thing. When I first found out, before I told anybody, we were at a friend's house, and there's a whole bunch of us hanging out. There's probably 20 or 30 of us at the house. And there was about 10 men that I was sitting with, and I knew what was going on, but none of them at the time did. And I remember looking around, and I knew the stats, hey, 1 out of every 8. And I said to myself, wow, this is crazy. There's 10 of us in this room. Odds are, out of this 10, 1 of us is going to have prostate cancer. And then it hit me, wait a minute, I'm the one. So I was like, wait a minute. So the numbers are right. There's 10 men in this room. I have prostate cancer. So I'm the 1 of the 8, that has it. But you get 100 men in a room, and 13 of them are going to end up with prostate cancer. That's just the numbers. Those are just facts. And again, luckily only 2 or 3 out of that 13 end up dying from it. So statistically, it sounds okay. But, there's, like I said, it's the second leading cause of death among men other than lung cancer, as far as cancers go. So again, like I said before, there's a few of you out there watching this video that obviously have known the situation for quite a while. Obviously, my family knows, my wife, who, I'll start crying if I get into how good she's been through this. And my kids, and my dad and his wife, they've all been, oh my God, they've been so supportive and so good through this with me. My wife has gone to every single appointment I've had. She's literally been there. I was in the hospital for 5 days. She stayed with me in the hospital for 5 days. She did not leave the hospital. She's been with me for everything. My kids, nonstop phone calls and visits and concern, and I hate putting them through it. I have a group of friends in this area who I can't name every one of them on this video, but they know who they are. And this close group of friends that I have down here has been amazing to me and my wife and my family during this time, helping out. They created a meal train for us when I was going through, after the surgery, when I was laid up for a couple months. They've texts and phone calls, and every time we see them, they're always concerned. And it's so important to have a supportive group. And to be honest with you, I wasn't going to tell anybody when I got diagnosed. I wasn't going to mention this to anyone. So that's why I'm even surprised I'm even doing this video. But I was going to keep it private. Obviously, I was going to tell my wife and kids and my dad. But that was it. Wasn't going to mention it to anybody. I didn't want to be that guy. Oh, there's the guy with cancer. Oh, poor Neil has cancer. Oh, sympathy for Neil. And I didn't want anybody to look at me or treat me differently. And stupid me, that's what I thought. But after I decided to tell not only my family, obviously, but my close friends here, it's amazing how different it was. It wasn't anything like I thought. And the support that they gave was just incredible. But again, getting back to awareness. And I'm going to kind of wrap this up. I know I'm kind of rambling on, like I said I would. And like I said, I know this would come as quite a shock to a lot of people, because you see me on Facebook, and me and my wife and my family, and over the last year we've been to concerts and trips and cruises, and we're doing all this and we're doing all that. But that's kind of what I put out there and what you see, and that's all truth. But this is the stuff you don't see that we go through. and the doctor's appointments and the hospital visits and the worry and the scans. And so there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes you don't see. And I don't want any of you to have to go through that. I don't want any of your family members or friends to have to go through that. And if by me making this video can even help one person out there decide, hey, maybe I'll get my PSA tested. Maybe I will, get checked out. Maybe I'll say something to my brother, my uncle, my cousin, my father, whoever it might be. I just can't overemphasize the importance of such a quick little test and how important it is, because like I've said a few times, if I didn't get that test done by accident or just by circumstance, that would have been it for me. I'm 58 years old. I would have maybe seen 60 and wouldn't have seen my kids grow up to get married or grandkids or any of that stuff. And now that I've found out and I'm still going through treatment a year later, I'm hoping over the next few months that'll be it, and I can get on with the rest of my life and live happily ever after, and that'll be it. But again, this is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. I wanted to put this out there. Again, I never thought I'd have to put a video like this. I never wanted to. But I figured if I'm going through this, there could be other people out there going through this too. Also, who haven't told anybody and know, hey, you're not alone. Maybe other people that I know have it. I just don't know, have gone through this. I don't know. They never said anything to me. But please get checked. Please get your test done. Please, and I implore you to talk to family members about getting this done if they're not, or they're against it, or they're just lazy like I was, because it will save their lives. It will save, it saved my life. I'm a walking testament how it saved my life at this point. And that's it. So thank you for dealing with my rambling and putting up with my constant, talking. I did all this off out of my head. I didn't really have a game plan. I didn't have this mapped out. I didn't have an outline of what I was going to say. I just kind of figured, let me hit record and go with it. And hopefully I got my message through. And thank you to everybody who took again the time to watch this video, and thank you to everybody who has been a part of my life, helping us through this, for me and my family up to this point. And I love you all, and good luck. If anybody has any questions about anything, any concerns, anything, reach out to me. You can text me. If you don't have my phone number, hit me up on Facebook. I'll give you my phone number. We could text, we can call, we can talk, whether it's you or a family member or a friend, whatever. I'm an open book at this point in time. So I'm putting it all out there. That's what this is about. I just want to be able to help anybody else who's in the situation that I'm in, prevent it from happening or help them get through it. So again, thank you for watching, and have a good day. Bye-bye.